Okay. Well, I think a lot of the times, if I want to feel more manlier than another person, we do an arm wrestling contest. So, all right, check this out. So this is it. This could be another thing I beat you in which I feel better about my life. Okay, can't use your other arm. It's just going to be just strictly one arm, all right? Okay, this is going to be the other side, all right? You ready? What are you doing back there?
Nothing.
All right, ready? Put this hand up here. I don't want you to use this other. All right, there you go. You can feel like that. Ready? 1, 2, 3. You're strong. How old are you? Was my face shaking? Oh my God, he's gonna pop me out. Oh my God, no! Ow! Ow!
God.
I'm 14, so it's actually not that big of a difference. Ow. No, I legitimately tried, and I'm not saying like that you should be impressed by that, because my younger sisters beat me in arm wrestling, but I thought I might be able to get you. You got thick arms. Those are nice. Very impressed by that. So you can beat me in something.
You sort of brought it back to the middle at one point.
I tried, but there's a range of motion. Once I get to there is when I think the tricep gives up or something, and there's just nothing. There's no strength left. Okay, I'm out of breath. Okay. Oh, I'm editing that out for sure. That's just in case I won. I was gonna put that in here. Carl, next question. What do you think has helped your game the most? Is there any stage or season of your game where you kind of really jumped up a level or really kind of progressed in a decent amount of time, or has it been more of a steady climb?
It's just seasonal. Like in the winter, I'm not gonna lie, I suck. Like I don't know where my game's at. Like last winter I was shooting in like some rounds I was shooting in the 80s, and some rounds, one round I shot 66. I just don't know what I'm gonna shoot sometimes in the winter. But then in June I just start to hit my peak. Like, that's lucky because Junior Worlds is during July and then Teen World is in August. So I hit my peak then and I consistently shoot in the 60s for a while. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the weather, or I think because my dad kind of rests me through the rest of the year, and then he sort of lifts me up and starts to really get into it during the summer.
Do you have as like big of tournaments in the wintertime as the summer? Like the summer you have some very high priority tournaments that mean a lot. Do you have those in the winter? Is that maybe part of it? Or?
Not really. I mean, the winter is just, last winter was pretty fun because there was a lot of tournaments in North Carolina on the Tar Heel Tour that I played in regularly, like every month, maybe 3. But no really big tournaments, just, I don't even know. There was the Publix I played last year. That was in November, I think, or December.
Carl, what is one thing that if you thought your playing competitors did, they would improve? Like, is there a time when you're playing around and you see your competitor do something, you're like, man, if he could just do this, he'd take 2 or 3 shots off his game?
Yeah. Sometimes I see kids just, well, not in world championships, but sometimes in the other tournaments, I see kids just, as soon as they make a bogey, it starts on a stretch, just keeps on going. Like they'll be playing good, like 1 under through 9 holes, then on like the 11th hole they make a bogey, and then it's like, oh my God, it's all over. And then I see them shoot 7 over after being 1 under through 9 holes, and I think if kids just like, I tell them just keep playing the way you were on the front 9. Don't give up after you make a bogey. I mean, bogeys are gonna happen. I mean, it's just, some kids just think that, oh, bogey, no, it's terrible, or double, and then they just bogey out. I've seen that all the time.
For you, Carl, do you try to stay emotionally more at a neutral level in terms of getting really high or really low, or do you try to kind of just stick one shot at a time? What's the distance? What's the wind? Where do I got to carry it? What's the pin?
No, I'm always thinking one shot ahead. I've tried to not do that for years. I want to be able to just think one shot at a time, but instead now I'm just thinking, if I get this shot on the green, I can make a birdie, and then on the next hole, if I get that shot on the green, I can make a birdie. I think I'm like 4 holes ahead. I'm always thinking about my score, and that's something I've been trying to work on. But
that's something you do want to improve?
Yeah.
Or? Okay. Well, I mean, if you can kind of look at me and try to learn from me, Carl, as your role model, you can only remember when you made an eagle and I made a par, and that could have been a big turning in the match. And then I proceeded to go, birdie, birdie. I got that bounce back. Just try to simulate yourself after me. What would Gabe do in this situation? How would Gabe think and react? Do you see what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about?
No, I sort of lost you after you.
All right. Well. Okay, Karl, what's one of the things that has maybe affected your game in a negative way?
I've been to 3 academies and I'm at my 4th one right now. It's just something I find with all the coaches, they try to fix something that doesn't need to be fixed. I mean, my dad has a saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, my last academy I was at, the coach, I was shooting amazing scores and he said it could make it better. I'm talking 65s and 66s. It's pretty hard to make that consistently shooting 62s. Yeah. And, I was happy with shooting 65s and 66s, but this guy wanted to change it. So he changed it, and then within a couple weeks, I was shooting 80s consistently. So that's when I got my dad to come in, look at me for a while, and he spent about a couple of weeks with me, and then I was shooting, again, 66s. But, that's just a thing that I find at most of them, is that they try to change it. It's like they want it to be absolutely perfect, but they can't make it perfect. So that's why I've gone to an academy in Florida called Saddlebrook, and I've put my trust into them to be able to not completely change my swing, but just be able to work in with what the swing I have right now. And I feel like they can do that because they have really good coaches there. And this summer I've shot good scores, and hopefully I can keep that going for the whole year. So it's not like a seasonal thing. But Saddlebrook is great. I feel like they can do that, and hopefully I can be able to do that by the end of this year.
It's completely different if someone's coming in shooting 85, but if you're coming in shooting 66, you have to be doing something right. You can't be having bad mechanics and bad this and that if you're shooting 66s and winning tournaments. And I definitely agree with you. I'd love to see, refine, work around with what you already got and keep your strengths while maybe slowly bringing up your weaknesses, but not to completely rebuild the foundation that doesn't need to be rebuilt. So I'm glad you can find a place, and I hope you continue to find people who can work with you, keep you where you're at, and slowly notch up that ladder. The ball's going straight.
It doesn't need to be pretty.
Even if it's against what I think is right. Let's say I look at my Karl swing and I'm God. That's it. He's doing everything I don't teach, but the ball's going in at 66 times.
About the rerouting?
No, I'm just saying in general, hypothetically, if the ball's going in at 66 times, I don't care if he's I'm that can't be good, but it's I guess it worked. Yeah. Karl, has there ever been a time in your golfing career where you wanted to take a break or even quit golf or give up?
Yeah, back in Australia, there was a tough time where we didn't really have a home to stay in. And, it was really hard for me to just keep that positive attitude and, to keep shooting good numbers with the situation I was in, with no home and, a very small budget. So, it was really tough, but...
How old were you when this was going on?
I was 10 and 11, but, when I was doing that, I just felt like it was so much pressure, that this kid, everybody was telling me, this kid needs to play a lot better. He needs to go to America and win this world championship. I didn't really have a home course then, so I was limited with practice facilities, and I just felt like quitting because I didn't have any resources, and it was just really hard to keep up that positive attitude, keep going.
Yeah, let's talk about this too, Karl. I'm assuming even right now you have a lot of people that try to put pressure on you, whether they're trying to or not. You even maybe have a lot of expectations for yourself. People have other expectations for yourself. Your future is also kind of dependent on how well or not well you play golf. And I want to kind of talk to you about, do you let your good rounds or bad rounds affect the way you feel about yourself? Because I've heard of golfers where they play a bad round and then they kind of feel like they're a bad person or letting people down, and it ruins the rest of their day or week.
No. If I have one bad round, I leave a couple putts short. I just go back after the round. I practice. If there's something wrong in my game or in a round, I should go straight to the range afterwards. But in some rounds, if I leave a couple putts short and shoot 75, I just go back to the putting green, make sure I don't leave any putts short. But if I have like 10 bad rounds, even if that's happening consistently, I just keep on working on it, and then I know eventually it's going to click and it's going to start happening again. So I never really tell myself that I'm terrible at golf. I mean, there were times that I have, because I shot like a couple of 90s.
It's almost like you played bad golf, but you're not a bad golfer.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. You don't self-identify with it. It's a little upset. But yeah, I missed that putt, but I did everything I could. I'm not going to beat myself up about it. Karl, that's another thing, is kind of going back to you, saying, we all kind of hit a rough patch. I mean, do you feel like maybe in the future that could benefit you in terms of, you're like, I've been through some hard times. Like, I've struggled. Like, anything else now in the future can somewhat be easier because I've already done it. I've already been through it.
Yeah. I've been through the worst that could possibly happen. So anything, score is not going to affect me. I mean, it's the things that have happened in my life that have affected me, like what happened in Australia. But I just keep pushing, and I mean, in the future, you're gonna have bad rounds. Putts might not fall. You might have the shanks one round. I've had that round like last week, but it's just the way it is.
Well, what I think is good is, yeah, obviously Karl's played some good rounds. He's won some junior worlds and some, U.S. Kids Championships, which is interesting because even though you're such a good player and you're going to have such high standards and expectations for yourself, you're also able to accept the bad shots and bad rounds, knowing that I can't play perfect all the time. Every putt's not going to go in every shot. So to have that good balance of accepting what is, continuing to move on, and also being able to handle, you're able to handle winning, and you're also able to handle losing to me very well. It's just very impressive. I mean, when I beat you the way that I beat you, most kids I break. I mean, that's going to mentally beat you down. And I'm saying to myself, I go, Gabe, do you want that on your conscience, shattering a kid's dreams? If I go out here and I beat him again, I mean, he might go, I can't get to the tour, I can't beat Gabe. And Gabe's never won no junior worlds or any tournaments. I mean, and I don't know if I don't know if I want that on myself. I think you're a good kid. I think, you can do and achieve a lot of your goals and get close to what I've done in my life.
Yeah.
Jesus. All right.
Oh, it's swallowed a
Wait,
fly.
hold on. Thanks for watching that video, you guys. As you can see, it's quite amazing how open Karl is, not only with his good rounds and bad rounds, and not only the good things and bad things that have happened to him in his life. It takes a lot of courage to be open and share your story with people. So I'm very humbled to have met with Karl, played with him, and got some insight on who the real Karl Vilips is. And it's quite impressive, and actually more impressive than his golf game. So thanks for watching, you guys. If you haven't already, make sure you go check out Karl's YouTube channel. Just click on the annotation or the link in the description box. We also have a course match. We did another one with Karl, so you can see who wins that. See if he gets revenge, or see if I beat him again. As you can see, I gave Karl a hard time in that interview sometimes, but I genuinely like Karl, appreciate him sharing some time. Very mature kid, and I wish him all the best towards his future, and I will do whatever I can to help him. So Karl, keep up the good work. Keep doing you. You're awesome.